Good morning, grade 10. I hope you worked through the first few pages of chapter 14 because you need to know all the different aspects and the new terminology to be able to do the salaries journal. Now, the salaries journal at this stage is really easy because it's just filling in the columns and filling out a form. It's when we start posting to the ledger that you really have to understand. But for now, it's really easy. So you are provided with a salaries journal of Monty's journal, Monty's Traders, and they filled in Grosseca and Milan, so that you've got, and you only have to fill in the all the information, all the details for T block. Now, a gross salary, as you all know, is your salary before the deductions. In other words, what is your salary before pension fund, the UIF, the unemployment insurance funds, or medical aid, pay as you earn? That is what that stands for, and that's your tax, income tax. So before those deductions have been deducted, your gross salary, the gross salary is 5,000 Rand. After the deductions, you get a net salary. So it's important that you understand these new terms. Right, now let's see how we do the salary of block. Now, the gross salary of block is 5,800 Rand, and you can just fill in the 5,800 Rand. The pension fund is 6% of the gross salary. So if you work out that 6% of the gross salary, you get an amount of, 348 Rand. Very straightforward, 6% of the 5,800 Rand. Now, the UIF is an unemployment insurance fund, and that is a fund that everyone who works has to contribute to. It's a fund that provides you with a few months' salary if you don't have your job anymore, if you lost your job for example, if you lose your job after this whole COVID situation. Then if you have contributed towards the UIF, then the UIF will pay out part of your salary, not your whole salary, but for the next few coming months. So the UIF is compulsory, and that is 29 Rand. Then the medical aid is like a medical insurance. It's when you get sick or when you need to get your medication. If you have contributed towards your medical aid, then it's like an insurance. You can go to the hospital and you only have to make a little payment by yourself, but for the rest it is covered. It depends, of course, on what type of medical aid you belong to. Then the medical aid cost is 100 Rand per member, plus an extra 60 Rand for every dependent. Now, the dependent is his wife or children, so he pays 100 Rand, and his wife 60 Rand, and the child 60 Rand. So the medical aid is 220 Rand. Then the pay as you earn, that is his income tax, is calculated using the following formula. Now, the following formula, the gross salary minus the pension fund, that must go away. The gross salary, so the 5,800 minus the pension fund times 25%. So it's 5,800 minus the 348 Rand, and that times the 25% is the income tax, and that amount is 1363. If you add up all the deductions, all those, you get an amount of 1960, and if you subtract the 1960 from the 5,800, you get the net salary, which is 3840 in the case of block. Right. The accountant of Monty Traders issues checks number 481 to 483 to the employees. So Grosseca gets the check number 481, 482 to Milan, and to block 483. Just for information, you will need that later when we pass. Now, the employer's contribution, that is a privilege that you get if you work for a company or for a business, is they also pay towards your medical fund or your pension fund. Now, you will see in the textbook, it says pension fund in the book. It's wrong. That must be medical aid. So just change that, because I think in your answer book, it's also medical aid. And so the employer also contributes towards your medical aid or your pension fund. It depends, and it differs from business to business. UIF is also compulsory. That contribution of the employer, they have to contribute towards UIF. So